We're playing Splatoon 3. My friend Lauren is here with me.
Hello.
We're doing an elongated bit, and this bit is called Lauren's Worst Date.
It's a date I've actually been on.
And so it's a channel point reward where I just go and I imitate Lauren's worst date, which is just the worst dude you've ever met. So I was considering doing some runs tonight, and then I had some drinks instead, and that will continue.
Yay! I also had a drink.
This is going to be a group improv thing. We're gonna Lauren
So,
and I.
how do you feel about PvP games? Is that a thing that you're interested in?
Well, so what people don't understand is that when you're playing, like, people think, like, Dark Souls is, like, really impressive or whatever, and, like, Dark Souls is cool or whatever,
Yeah.
but you're not really getting, like, the peak difficulty. Because, like, when you're playing against an AI, you know, you're playing against, like, a developer. And developers, you know, they build the game in a certain way, but they just don't understand how, like, how they don't understand the way the game, the way the community ends up doing it, and that's what makes competitive games so good. Is that game's always changing, and you're against like human beings. And it's about that sportsmanship, you know. It's like I don't know if you've ever heard of baseball. I'm like really into baseball. I think baseball is really cool.
Oh wow!
And like what makes baseball so impressive is that there's all this like statistics to go into it, and like League of Legends is kind of a lot like that.
Oh.
You know, the meta's always changing. It's kind of like, you know, these other games, like, they're hard, but they're just not even remotely as difficult as playing against another person, because it doesn't matter how good you are if that person's better than you. And, like...
Do they wear cute outfits in baseball, too? Please tell me more.
There's nothing really cute about baseball.
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry.
kind of like a really serious thing. You know, it's like a
No, you're
multi-billion-dollar industry. You know what money is? Because, like, it's kind of
No.
involved. So maybe you should, like... Sorry, I didn't mean to be, like, mean about it, but it's just, like, you're kind of trying to, like, you're just trying to take something that's, like, really important to me, and you're just kind of, like, lower it to, like, this sort of, like, visual thing. And, I just don't think that's, like, good of you.
Uh-huh.
The state's going really well, I think, actually.
How do you feel about overweight women?
I'm not doing this bit. I'll get taken out of context and canceled. Joining us, that was a bit.
This is the bit that May is doing, by the way, is a man that I have gone on a date with. So please do not.
Yeah. By the way, if you want me to do this and you want to guarantee it happens, tonight is the night to get those in. I don't think I've limited it to one per stream yet. So if you want to get like, when I've been drinking and Lauren's here to act as like, I'm fucking getting owned. It's kind of like what if Dota was good, and what I like about it is that you know that Imagine Dragons, they're my favorite band. They do all the music for it.
Wow, all of it?
A lot of it. They do like they do some K-pop stuff too, but it's like better because it's not because like I can understand it.
Oh yeah, that's the real struggle with some other countries.
Yeah, I like don't like that about that. I think they should change that.
When May started doing this bit, we were in. Were we in Scotland?
Yeah, we were in
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Yeah.
So we're in Glasgow, and May. Part of the bit is that May will interrupt the ever-loving shit out of me while.
Okay, I don't think that's fair. I feel like what's happening here is that you're trying to like really get on me about like believing in comedy, and like part of what makes comedy so like important and like real is the fact that it doesn't really follow societal norms, you know? Like, that's the problem we're seeing, is that, like, comedians feel like they can't actually express themselves because they can't say slurs anymore. And I feel like that's, like... it's a part of a bigger trend of just, like, this wokeness that is, like, kind of infiltrating every aspect of our society.
Oh, God.
Like, you can't even go outside and, like... Nowadays, people can't even, like, be themselves at work because they have to worry about, like, sexual harassment and things like that.
God.
Because, you know, like, guys can't even be dudes.
Yeah. So
I apologize for everything I just said.
this bit, May interrupts me a lot, and then I can't get a word in, and I had to ban it from our trip. Like, I had to be like, you cannot do this bit while we are here anymore. Because it was driving me up the fucking wall.
Which is why we made it a channel point reward.
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm saying, Rock, is like, where's the line drawn, you know? Like, back in the day, that was fine, and now you can't even you can't do stuff like that, and like, how are people supposed to know? You know, it's like this like thin line.
Who are your comedy heroes?
My comedy heroes are Louis C.K. and the Joker. I got you now. I don't ban.
You did. That was amazing. Sorry, go on.
Well, anyways, I've peaked comedically. That is the funniest thing I'll ever come up with on the fly.
So good.
I think that, like, it's kind of, like, messed up to tie people down to something. You know? I think that, like, you know, in this modern era, like, you know, the world's so fast-moving and stuff that's, like, locking yourself to, like, one belief, one thing. I think that's where a lot of people kind of, like, get caught. Is it, like, I don't really believe in, like, any sort of, like, specific political system or anything.
Really?
I'm like kind of in between all of them. And so I'm talking. And so I think it's, like, important to kind of, like, keep yourself open to new opportunities, which is why, like, if we dated, like, I would fuck other women, but I think that you should be okay with that, because I wouldn't be okay with you fucking other dudes, but that's just because, like, I don't know, I just feel like you should be committed.
For real, this real man that actually existed in reality, we were going on a date, and I go, oh, do you want to grab dinner? He goes, I feel like that's too much of a commitment.
Like, that's too much of a commitment. I just like first is dinner, then it's marriage. Like, where's the stop? You know, it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna own.
T-Pat did one for capitalism.
No, so capitalism's like really great because it's kind of like really based on like reality and logic. I think logic's really important. I think a lot of people, like both the rapper and the concept, I think a lot of people don't like understand, like they kind of like think about their feelings and stuff, and they don't really think about like reality enough. And I think that's like kind of what's wrong with a lot of society.
Yeah.
What makes capitalism really good is that it's like really efficient. You know, like markets are like really great, and what's really great about markets is that they're really great. So, you know, like without people, like you see all these socialists online. And they always talk about how, you know, that they think like money's bad or whatever.
Right.
But what they don't understand is that without money, they wouldn't have iPhones and they wouldn't even be able to tweet. And so like
we do live in a society.
Yeah, what we don't understand is that like when you have an iPhone, like that's capitalism. Without that, like you wouldn't. Like they didn't have iPhones in the Soviet Union, and that's because of communism. Hey Spider, how's it going?
Pro tip for anyone who ever actually goes on a date with a person like this. The trick is to ask the stupidest questions you can and see if they think that you are actually for real. Like, oh, what's an iPhone? Like, is like an actual question you ask this man.
Like, we have competition because we have two. We have Android and iPhone.
Right.
And like in the Soviet Union, they didn't have any phones, and that's just because of like how repressive it was back then. So
yeah,
it's like
in the 50s.
Yeah, in the 50s.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Glad
like
you clarified.
Like, I just want to like remind you that like we put somebody in the moon. It's like they didn't do that in the Soviet Union.
No.
We wound up. You've. So we're both a little drunk, and we're doing a bit that I came up with called Lauren's Worst Date.
Honestly, it really isn't my worst date. It's like top 3. Though.
It's up there, which is sad. I'm not that drunk. I could be. I just think drinking is really important.
Oh,
and,
fuck off.
You know, like society was made for drinking. Like literally, did you know that like bread was made because of alcohol or whatever? I didn't like. I read that online.
Where did you read that?
It was on this. It's called Reddit. You see Reddit? I love Reddit. I think it's like all these people who like really understand like logic and stuff, which I think is really important. I'm so sorry to my teammates. It's just that I think like comedy is really important. Hey, I got a kill. Okay, we're back in it. We're gaming.
We're gaming.
So the thing about like the food like Sparkle's opinions on food is that like, you know, those are ideas that like that are part of the marketplace of ideas. You know, he's allowed to go out there and he's allowed to say things like that. And like people disagree with him, and that's wrong, because what's important about the marketplace of ideas is that you can't criticize other people's ideas just because they're different. You just have to accept them and agree that they're right, even if you don't agree with them. That's kind of what it's all about. And so like when Sparkle says that like you can't have jam on anything besides toast with peanut butter, like I wish there was a name for that, but I don't. There isn't, unfortunately. What you have to do is just kind of have to like take that at face value, and like people like get really mad about it, and I just think that's like kind of like a microcosm of our modern society where people just get mad about everything, and what they don't understand is that like when you get mad about things like that, you're like erasing people's beliefs, and that's messed up.
Well, thank goodness
You know,
you're
like
here.
back in the 1800s, like people didn't die for this country in order to make it so that you couldn't speak your beliefs. I think that's like really important. Like,
If somebody
as a
said that sentence to me on a date, it would be my best date. I cannot explain to you how much excitement I would have.
yeah, that's the problem. Is that a lot of things are like too good, and then you'd be like, oh my god, did you hear this?
I would make this man talk forever. I would have a 4-hour date with
Like
this
as a libertarian, I think it's as a libertarian, I have two beliefs, and that is that one, you should be able to speak whatever you say, no matter what people think about it, and two, that they should lower the age of consent. And
Oh my god! Ah!
this is not May's stated belief. This is a joke about libertarians. Please do not get me banned from Twitch. I don't know who won that one. We did, because we're gamers.
Yeah,
Let's go.
fuck those
I'm peeking the
guys.
mic so bad.
We
Woo!
did it. Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo! I gotta up the compression a bit. I'm shouting a lot.
Y'all, the man who this is making fun of was an improv comedian.
Yeah, but I bet he wasn't as good as me. And I don't even do it professionally. I
No,
I do it for the internet.
I need you to know that he was really bad.
Of course. Of course he was. You think this guy would be unironically funny? No.
Remember when you said your favorite comedian was Joker?
To be fair, is that not what that dude would say?
Yes, it is.
I don't think he would say that. I don't think he would say the Joker, but he would definitely mean the Joker. He'd be like, I think Heath Ledger's Joker is like kind of like, it's like comedic in a way where it's like fucked up, you know?
Yoga is like...
Yoga? So my problem with yoga is that like, I don't know, I think spiritualism is like important. I think it's important to be
Right.
like in like sync with yourself and the world.
Yeah, totally.
But I think my problem with yoga is that like it's just become so like, you know, you have to like go to like the place to do it. It's like kind of like become this like thing where like you just pay for somebody to tell you that like get into things. Like I don't really need that, you know. I'm like kind of figured out on my own because like I don't know. Have you read Marcus Aurelius?
No, who's
So you know,
that?
he's like this like Roman dude. He was like pretty important.
Ooh.
And he wrote this book called Meditations, and it's about how like if you don't have emotions and stuff, then like you're just kind of like doing your duty to your state. Sorry, that means like country and
Oh.
like yourself. And like I like really resonate with that because like I think that like being super emotional is what like a lot of people get wrong, especially women.
Right.
And I think
I'm
that.
glad that women targeted, yes.
And I think that you know, like keeping that all bottled in, like you're just kind of being like a more like true to yourself and true to like, you know, it lets you make better decisions and things like that. But the one thing I like about yoga is that the moms that go to it are super hot.
Oh, good. Yep. Yeah.
The problem with doing this bit is I can't fucking play Splatoon while I do it. Oh my god. Oh, come on! What is that? This game sucks.
Boo.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That one's on me for focusing on the bit. You know what? I don't regret it. Oh, oh dear. We gotta wait for Laura to come back. Sorry, I'm a little losing it. I'm gonna have to be the best subject yet. Did you see what the subject is? Joe Rogan. Kind of like really into podcasts. I've listened to a lot of podcasts lately.
Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, so I like the Joe Rogan experience. I think it's like really good.
What's your favorite?
What I like is that he has a lot of different voices on. He doesn't just like kind of like follow one ideology, but he just lets like the like debate play out in the marketplace of ideas. And I think a lot of podcasts are kind of like stuck in their own like ways, and they don't want to hear other voices because they're in like an echo chamber. And what I like about Joe is that he just like really wants to get a wide variety of guests on, and like he just wants to like talk to them on a very intellectual level, which a lot of podcasts like host these days just like really aren't interested in. Like I watched this other podcast and like it's about like games or whatever, and the two hosts on it, like all they do is like make jokes and talk about how like racism's bad, and it's like, look, I get that like you might think that, but if you considered both sides, and I think that's what's really great about Joe Rogan is that he considers every side. And I think that's like missing a lot in today's discourse. I also like think that like not a lot of people appreciate that. Like I know that, like it says, I eat playing cards on there. I know that like it's like the #1 grossing podcast in the world, but I just feel like more people should be listening to it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's an unlistened to podcast for sure.
Yeah, like it's just because people don't want to hear things that like they don't agree with, because it's hard for people to hear this stuff like that.
What things?
Like people like again, they're like kind of stuck in their own ways. They don't understand is that like, you know, the world's like not one-dimensional like they think it is. Like there's at least two, and so like
There's at least two.
and so like people don't want to hear that because they just want to like live in their echo chamber, and like I just think that's sad. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like it. Like I get it, but I just think it's kind of sad, and that like we should aim for higher intellectual heights. The real trick to this bit, by the way, for those of you who want to play along at home, is it's all about just like not really intonating that much, but like a little bit, and that's that little bit that really makes it. So that shows that like you do have like opinions about this, but again, you're like because you're so like you're such a stoke that you don't want to. I just wanted everyone. That's how I pronounce stoic.
It's important to be wrong and interrupt anybody that tries.
Yeah,
to
it's important to be wrong in a very obnoxious way. What I really like about Elon is that just like he's like a memer. He's like a meme lord. He's like the funniest guy on Twitter. And also he's like literally Elon Musk. Wait. I just say literally Iron Man, but what I said is way funnier. I like don't own a Tesla, but if I did, it's like what really sucks for Elon is that like he was like so in love with Grimes, and Grimes just like totally abandoned him. Like I'd suck his dick, so I understand why Grimes wouldn't. There are people who actually make like essentially doing that unironically on Twitter.
Oh no.
Not a gay way though.
Not in a gay way, of course.
Sorry, I forgot that part. Like, not everything has to be gay. Like, sometimes you just suck a billionaire's dick in a platonic way just because a dude needs it. Like, I don't know why you're so fucking focused on this. Like, move on. Oh, okay, we're free. And I was calm the whole time.
Look at us.
That makes sense.
Phonics,
We're so
baby.
good. We're so good at this.
We're so good at this.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Nailing it.
Child labor laws. Oh boy, I don't think we won this one, by the way, gamers.
It's all about that grind for children.
Oh fuck! Thank you. So what? Like when people like, I don't understand like the whole complaint about children working because like if you look at anybody who's ever succeeded in life, like they start young. You know, like
right.
Like award-winning musicians and like sports athletes and things like that. Like they start as kids because their parents get them into it, and like we don't consider that labor. But if like a kid starts to work in like a factory, what if they want to be like the best like factory foreman in the world? Like we don't like care about that anymore. That's because this country like that's why we're like losing out to other countries in terms of manufacturing and things like that. It's just because like we don't care. Like we don't have our mindset in the right place. And I think of like you know like and like there are kids on YouTube who have like millions of subscribers, and like again like we think that's fine. That's because those kids have their heads in the right place. Like they're like on that grind every day.
Yeah.
And they're really caring about it. So like, what if a kid maybe a kid wants to like work a day job? Like maybe a kid wants to do spreadsheets. Maybe a kid wants to work in the mines. Like who are we to say that like kids can't do that? Like I think kids should be taken seriously. I think like you know that people say that children are our future, but they don't like want children to be our present. And I just think that sucks.
Holy fuck.
NFT. Oh shit.
Fuck.
All right. So have you heard the blockchain?
No.
It's like kind of it's like the future. So like. What you don't understand about like modern money is that modern money is like controlled by the government and stuff like that.
Right.
What makes the blockchain so good is that it's decentralized, right? And so like, you know, like it's not like beholden to like the thing with like the Fed is that the Fed's like kind of stuck in all these like interests of like corporations and like that. But what makes the blockchain so good is that like nobody controls it. Like okay, like people you could like if you look at it like there's a couple people who like maybe have like a bigger stake than others, but like at the end of the day it's like decentralized, which means like that means nobody's in charge. That's what decentralized means. And so
is it?
So like what makes NFTs so cool is it's like this modern iteration on art and things like that. Like I think art's really important, and the problem is like we don't like have art's not really valued anymore. But like with NFTs, we're like able to take art and we're like able to put value in them again because because it's on the blockchain. And like what makes the blockchain so great is that like you know that you own that art, even if other people are looking at it, like that's yours. It's kind of like if you have something in your house and other people look at it, you know, like that's not theirs, that's yours. And like your crypto wallet is kind of like your house, but like in the metaverse. You've heard the metaverse? The metaverse, like, you heard of Second Life? It's like, what if Second Life was, like, decentralized, which means that, like, not one person owns it? And what makes that so great is that it means that, like, again, like, you know, not one person owns all the land in the metaverse. Like, anyone can. Like, and, like, it's kind of like a new start for a lot of people, you know, because, like, a lot of people, like, don't, like, feel like they can own a home. But, like, on the metaverse, you can own anything you want, you know? And like, because like it's about like ownership and having property. Like property's so important. Like property's everything, right?
Right.
Like as a libertarian, I like really think that property is kind of like everything. And just like by making sure that we like know what people own, like because people like piracy is like such a big thing,
right?
And like people don't like care about it anymore. Like people like try to steal NFTs, but they don't understand is that like you can't steal an NFT. Like that's just not how it works. Like they think they're so smart with their right clicking so they can like view the image, but they don't own it. And that's what they don't understand.
Right.
Like I don't think you understand that.
No, I get it. Yeah.
No, I just don't think like a lot of people like think they get it. They just don't understand it.
Yeah.
No, like okay, well, I'm glad you get it because a lot of people don't.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you explained it to me though, because I would have been really.
No problem. Like again, it's like a really complicated thing.
Yeah.
And like there's like a lot of like some of the smartest people in the world are like working on it.
And you explained
like
it
Mark
so
Zuckerberg
eloquently.
and Mark Zuckerberg's doing it, and he's like rich.
Yeah.
The problem with that one is I like unironically, unfortunately, know what NFT like know too much about the blockchain out of like hate. I like hate learned enough about the blockchain from like listening to podcasts and like being in tech and shit that I like could very much easily be like, what you don't understand is that like you don't own like because of the blockchain. It's like
Nailed it. I just like the level of confusion I had when that guy called me again because he left this long message about how he felt like we could try again, and he's like, I just think that we really had something, and I would love to like reach back out and touch base with you and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, like a month away maybe, but like 6 months is a long time.
Seeing how Ethereum cut over to proof of stake really made me think about how like I still have a stake in you, and you know like really you're like, and no matter how many NFTs that I buy, it's like the only thing that I really want to own is your love. And you know I just wish I still had that, but you know
our one date sure did seem like love, didn't it?
Really, NFTs means not fully tested, and like our relationship was, so I really think we should really reconnect. It's okay, you don't have to respond.
May has decided to desecrate my ears, and you've decided to desecrate my
heart.
eyes.
Okay. Listening to May scream made me really think about how we really didn't make it.
Nailed it, babe. 10 out of 10 delivery there. You just have to not be a complete
Also,
and
literally,
utter
I don't
asshole.
understand what the problem is. I've given you so much free advice tonight. Like, I would never lead you astray. As a lady, this clearly works. Why else would I say it? Okay, so this one I've had arguments about with kind of this guy. Okay. I don't like the thing with like raising the minimum like fight for 15 or whatever is like just because like you like are making a burger doesn't mean you deserve money, right? Like I don't know, like I make $15 a job at like my spreadsheet job, and like I would be pretty pissed if somebody was like working like at a counter made the same as me, right? Like what, they would have to pay me more? Like that's like not gonna happen. So it's like, why do they deserve the same amount of money that I do? My work's way more important. By the way, what sucks about my job is that like they never have work for me to do. It's like really frustrating.
Yeah.
I feel like I spend half my time doing nothing.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate conversation I've had. That's why that one was so easy.
I once got into an argument with a girl who was talking about tipping, And she's like, I just don't know how to tell when they deserve a tip.
Yeah, that's a good tip from Eminem. I agree. The only proper way to refer to a woman as a broad is if you are doing a sketch about film noir. That is it. And even then, you should use Dane.
Yeah.
Like, even then, it's not really appropriate. If you're doing like a 1920s newscaster, if you're in Mad Men, I guess.
Yeah. Is saying "Hey, sugar lips" appropriate to greet my secretary?
You can't even say "Hey, sugar lips" to your secretary anymore. People get mad about that. It's messed up. In these woke times.
Is the woke times 1984?
It is. We live in 1984. Wake up.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, you set me up for that one.
I did. I didn't mean to, but I did.
See, dudes cheating on their secretary, apparently that's good. And yet when women fuck the milkman, that's bad. I don't understand. This is my 1950s stand-up. My 1950s feminist stand-up.
Okay, I was like, I don't know. This doesn't sound like that guy.
No.
Sure.
This is a different bit. This is 1950s feminist stand-up. This is 1950s Lena Dunham.
Yeah.
All right, this one's easy. Yeah, so like I just don't really think it exists, right? Like the thing is like people like you look at the statistics and it's like, you know, people say it's a thing, but it's like kind of an outlier. And like again, as a libertarian, it's like I don't really feel like it should really be like as big of a thing as people think it is. It's like very much an overblown issue and things like that. Like, you know, like people will just do what they want to do, and like we just have to respect that. And like if you're trying to like force your way into the market, that's like really messed up because you're like you're gonna introduce like these inconsistencies into it, like these inefficiencies, and that's just gonna tank the economy.
Yeah.
And so like I think that like you know, people are gonna date who they're gonna date. Sorry, you said the wage gap. Oh.
Jesus Christ!
I'm glad you all enjoyed these bits. I had a good time doing them. On one hand, should I be alarmed that I'm pretty good at this bit? Yes. On the other hand, do I have fun doing it? Also yes. This one's my favorite guy.
You just like his voice, though.
All right, well, I think that's time for me to end it. And you know what I say at the end of every stream?
Don't be racist. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.